Namaste and good morning, everyone. Let's start the class with prayers. Om Guru Brahma, Guru Vishnu, Guru Devo Maheshwara, Guru Sakshat Parbrahma, Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Om Bhurbhuvasvaha, Tatsavitra Varenayam, Bhargo Devasya Dhimani, Dhiyo Yo Nah Prachodayat. Asto ma satgamya, tamso ma jyotirgamya, mrityurma amritam gamya. Om sehna bhavatu sehna bhunaktu seviryam karvavai tejasvi navadhitamastu ma vidvishavai. Om shanti shanti shanti. Last week we were talking about mindful breathing. That means that you are breathing while paying attention, bringing the mind on the breath. Today we're going to go one step further. You all know that a dog takes 20 to 30 breaths in a minute, lives for 10 to 12 years. Whereas a human being takes 12 to 20 breaths in a minute and lives for 80 to 100 years. And at the same time, a tortoise who breathes only 3 to 5 times in 1 minute lives for 500 to 600 years. So there's a deep connection with how we breathe and how long we live. So this is clear that the lower the number of breaths as an organism has, the longer it can live. That's why our ancients, they said that we have been given a certain number of breaths. Kitne shwas lekar aaye. Not how many months or years we're going to live, but kitne shwas lene hain, how many breaths. So by understanding this, those ancients, they started working on the science of reducing the number of breaths. Because they fully understood that a human being gets a fixed number of breaths. Whether we use them quickly or whether we can extend them over the period of time, it's up to us. Because the number of breaths we take, they are limited. They are limited in number. So life can be prolonged by reducing the speed. But remember that this slowing down and lengthening of the breath should happen naturally, not dramatically. We all know when we breathe, we feel the air directly at certain parts of our body. Most of us feel only in the throat and the heart or the lungs. We are not even aware of the air that has gone into the other parts through our respiratory system. We don't even know how it gets divided into many types. Only when we learn or study the yogic scriptures that yogis have told us. They gave us different names for different vayus. Because this breathing happens so quickly that we are not even aware of it. We only know that oxygen went in and the carbon dioxide came out. But what is it doing inside us? there's a little knowledge of what that oxygen has done. Where is it? Is it doing right or wrong? Do you know that when we take these deep, calming breaths, some amazing things happen within our bodies? It's almost like a symphony of well-being. Deep breaths help our immune system. This immune system gears up to battle nasty germs inside us. Do you know that if we take strong and deep breaths, then the fast flow, the bacteria inside the body start getting destroyed. The ability of the cells to fight diseases also increases. Bone health also increases. New blood begins to be produced in the marrow. The waste accumulated in the body begins to be discharged. The brain's awareness returns, due to which the memory power gets improved. Due to the activation of neurons, the ability to think and understand becomes alive again in the lungs. Confidence comes back with fresh air. While it's not a direct link, deep breathing is like a supportive friend to our health, and indirectly keeping things in check with the surge of oxygen. Waste that has been hanging around starts to get flushed out. Brains get the memo also, and suddenly we are more alert. We really get a boost in our memory power. It's almost like a switch being flipped on in our brains. That's how powerful the breathing is. Think when there is a strong gust of wind in the forest, then every part of the forest wakes up and becomes alert. That's exactly what happens when we do Kapalbhati and Bhasrika. Just one blow of Kapalbhati and Bhasrika pranayam is like that gust of strong wind in the forest. Unfortunately, very few people have the ability to bring a storm within themselves like that, which is helpful. Because it does take consistent practice. Only then the storm is born. Only then we can say the changes in our life. Not only internally, externally also. Nowadays, most of the people's breathing is short and slow. Their pupils remain shallow. They are restless. People don't even realize how they are breathing when they are in a state of anger. When feeling of lust arise, the breath also changes. With each of our feelings and thoughts, our breath also changes along with it. That's how the deep connection with the breath we have. It also changes according to our eating habits and lifestyle. The way we sit, the way we sleep, the way we walk, the way we communicate. Actually, our breathing has a direct relation with our state of mind and our physical system. The entire science of yoga is based on breathing in the right way. So if we just learn to take our breath in the right way, so our life will change like magic. Today we rely more on the medicines outside or the equipments outside. This God-given equipment, we don't pay much attention and we don't know how to use it. Today, through all this ancient yogic story, we will learn in detail about the way to breathe properly and the magical secret of breathing. Story is a long time ago, a sage lived in his ashram. The sage used to teach yoga, meditation, and pranayam to the students. He himself was an accomplished yogi because he spent many years meditating in a cave in the Himalayas, where he had deeply understood many subtle human dimensions. And now he's using this experience also, and he wanted to spread the knowledge to the masses through his disciples. As we know, these sages and the saints, once they learn something, they don't want to hold it. They don't want to possess it. They don't think it's their knowledge. They want the masses to get the benefit of it. So one day after dinner, the most intelligent and smart student of the ashram comes to him. Seeing the face of the student, the guru understood that some questions were arising in his mind. Because face is a mirror of our mind. And especially when a person of that caliber can definitely understand what's inside. As soon as the student reached near the guru, he bowed down to him and said, Gurudev, I want to ask you some questions. The guru said smilingly, I know this. I understood it just by looking at your face. Ask me, what questions do you have? The student said, you often say that the root of yoga, meditation, and pranayam is our breath. And as soon as we get control over our breath, we get control over our mind and thoughts. So today, I want to learn in detail about the secret of breath and its true science. Hearing that, the guru gave a light smile and then started saying, as is our mind, so is the speed of our breath. Or as is our breath, so will be our mind. Everything that happens within us is connected to our breaths, as well as what happens outside us. So it's not only inside, but our breath affects the outside also. Every event that happens in our lives has a deep connection with our breaths, which means we can control the speed of our breaths. You can control your mind and thoughts by doing this. If you carefully observe a true yogi, a saint, or even a seeker, you will see an amazing calmness on the face. A true yogi can keep himself stable and calm even in the worst situation. Yogi does not suppress his emotions, but he gains control over his breath. By controlling his breath, he gains control over his mind. The man whose mind is under his control has a solution to all his problems. That's what that saint said. Let me repeat it. The person whose mind is under his control has the solution to all his problems. It's a pretty powerful statement he made. Pointing towards the disciple, the saint said, you might have heard about certain yogis who were said to live for 150, 200, or even 300 years. How do they manage to extend their lifespans? He said they achieve this through the control of their breathing. A practice often referred to as a harnessing prana energy. So that means that you got to understand it's not only the oxygen you are breathing in, it is the prana which is being carried through that oxygen. The prana. Prana energy is all around us. In what quantity it has to be taken and released, a yogi knows very well. And yogi has mastered it. Mastered this work to a great extent. You can use the energy as per your need and can make yourself long-lived. If you want to keep your body healthy, have more capacity than normal, and want sharp intellect, then you have to understand your breath. They are to be controlled. And once you control them, everything will be arranged in your life. This is what that sage is telling his disciple. There is no such a thing as fear, worry, or trouble. It's just a product of our minds and emotions. The only thing we can control is the emotion in our mind. And that is our breath, the anger inside us, anxiety, jealousy, ego feeling of revenge. All this works according to our breath. If we have a control over our breaths, then all these disorders. So according to yogis, these are disorders. The things, the emotions which we think they are normal part of our life, anger and the lust and the jealousy or fear, for a yogi, they are disorders. All these disorders can come under our control. Breath works as a bridge between our body and mind. If we want to reach our mind and understand its disorders and remove them, then we will have to walk on the bridge of our breath. But first we have to learn how to make this bridge. You got to understand, is this bridge strong enough? If we have never walked on it, if we have never worked on it, at the time of the need, we wouldn't know how to, where that bridge is. So we got to work on this bridge every day. We will have to reach our minds through our breath, and this is the only way. If you have ever seen a child, a small child, sleeping, then you must have experienced that when child inhales, his stomach expands. And when he exhales, his stomach deflates. That is a child, he knows how to move, or how deeply he knows how to breathe naturally. So this is called a deep breathing or a navel breathing, which is the most natural and correct way of breathing. Nature taught us from the beginning. Because of this deep and long breath, the mind of a child remains light, full of excitement. Their body works more naturally. You must have seen that the child is thinking about something in his mind, does not keep it there for too long, does not hold on to it, nor can he remain angry with anyone for a long time. If he is scolded or punished for any mistake, after sometimes he forgets it and gets engrossed in whatever he was doing before. This is why children seem so simple. They naturally breathe from their navel area. A child's body undergoes a rapid development, and their body needs more energy to meet the demands. That's why the longer breaths are necessary. So nature has bestowed upon the gift of extended breath to children. However, it is important to note that this longer breath is essential for all of us, all our life, because it's a nature's gift to us. But over time, we humans have altered our natural breathing patterns. Many now breathe from their chests rather than their diaphragm. Shorter our breath, the more susceptible we become to worries and trivial matters. On the contrary, longer and deeper breaths lead to increased happiness and inner peace. That Guru went on to explain that on average, a person takes 12 to 20 breaths in a minute. It's important to understand that our breathing is ultimately connected to our mental state and physical being. When the number of breaths per minute drops below 11, we become more attuned to the many subtle occurrences in the surroundings. By controlling our breath, we can develop an extraordinary sensitivity to the world around us, including the sounds and the feelings of animals. You may have heard stories of even fearsome creatures like lions and tigers appearing docile in the presence of certain yogis. The cow and a tiger drinking water from the same pond when a yogi is there. This transformation is believed to occur because those yogis have mastered breath control. So inside is calm. Whatever energy they are spreading outside feels the calmness also. So even those fearsome creatures, they feel the calmness too. They establish a deep connection with the sounds, emotions, and energies of animals. When our breath rate drops to around 9 breaths per minute, we can gain insight into the activities of the trees and plant life. Reducing our breath to less than 6 breaths per minute allows us to comprehend the workings of inanimate objects also. So not only the animals and the birds, not only the plants and the flowers, but even beyond that. The vibrations they emit and their interconnectedness with the world is essence we can tune into, the very essence of the universe. Yogis and sages who reach such a state are said to have the ability to unlock the universe's mysteries and foresee the events within it. But remember, the more stable our body is, the slower our breath becomes. Stable body. That's why Rishi Patanjali, when he talked about the asanas, before the pranayam, he talked about the asanas. And what was the definition of the asana according to Rishi Patanjali? Sukham Stiram Asana. You've got to learn how to sit still, and still you got to have comfort in your asana also. Only then it becomes asana. So stability and the comfort. Sukham Stiram Asana. Then comes pranayama. Then comes dharana, dhyana, and samadhi. But before we can still our mind, work on our breath, we got to learn how to live in this world also. Through the yam and the niyams. This is the program of yoga. So the more stable our body is, the slower our breath can become. Maintaining a consistent level of stability throughout the body, while avoiding rapid breathing can lead to heightened awareness. So according to the teachings of yoga, breath control empowers a seeker to achieve extraordinary feats that transcends the experiences of an ordinary person. In the yogic tradition, it is believed that by mastering breath, holding for extended period, an individual can unlock new dimensions of human existence. And certain life-threatening diseases for which there is no known cure may find relief through the disciplined control of the mind and brain, which can be achieved through the breath control. That's what the yogic scriptures talk about. A practitioner can reach a mental state where the ups and downs in life will not be able to disturb him. Because a yogi doesn't want to alter the prarabdha, but definitely have a control over the mind. Because prarabdha, that's a law of nature. Accepts it, but definitely wants to control the mind. A yogi who has gained control over his breath can stop his breath whenever he wants. There have been many, many examples of this. That Guru further said that when the breath is disturbed, then the mind also becomes unstable. But when the breath is calm, the mind also becomes stable. And the yogi becomes long-lived. Hence, we should learn to control our health. Have you ever considered the length of your breath? Have you ever paid attention? How many counts when you inhale and how many counts when you exhale? What is the ratio between inhalation and exhalation? Or do we just keep on doing it mindlessly? Something which is so important for us, for our physical well-being, as well as our mental well-being. We pay a lot of attention to the outer gadgets, but this beautiful instrument, so powerful, which God has given it to us, have we ever paid attention to it? During eating something, what we are eating, inhalation will be long. When we are walking very fast, we are breathing very fast. When we are running, when we are sleeping, what is the pattern of our inhalation and exhalation? We are breathing at that time too. In our scriptures, it is advised to control the lust and anger. Why? Because they can deplete our life force. Breath is often referred to as a life force of a human being. When we are getting angry, we are hurting ourselves. Sometimes we think we are hurting the others, punishing others who has done something wrong to us. But in the fact is that we are hurting ourselves a lot more. Even thinking wrong about somebody, we are hurting ourselves. That's also anger. That Guru said there was a 200-year-old man. Someone asked him about the secret of his long life. He shared just 2 simple practices. Taking full breaths down to the navel and maintaining an upright posture. We got to pay attention to our posture. It takes practice. When we are keeping our even the neck down, looking at the phone or the computer, what are we doing to our posture? What is happening to our shoulders? What is happening to our neck? Pay attention to it. I'm not saying don't use those things, but definitely do some counter exercises. Take deep breaths. These are seemingly straightforward practices, but they hold great significance in the realms of yoga and pranayama. That's why during our asana practices also, we pay attention to our breath. We bring our mind inward. As the anger and the lust diminishes in us, we will experience changes. We will definitely move towards the bliss. We will enhance our writing abilities. Our speech will improve. We will become far-sighted. Even the power of rapid movement will feel, not only physically, Have you ever seen those great yogis, how they walk? But how rapid their mind is, how quickly they understand, comprehend. It's all connected with this practice. These dormant powers, they are in all of us. But we got to learn how to awaken them. But only when there's a desire to awaken. This mental path to awaken them. Then we will learn the physical manifestation of this mental path. And this physical manifestation of this mental path to awaken these dormant forces is our breath. So breath control is the initial step in this journey. That's why pranayama is called the soul of yoga. But let me add, in order to do a better pranayama, or a more control over your breath, see, just like if a chef wants to cook in the kitchen, the utensils must be clean, the kitchen must be clean. The same way, this nose must be clean. These yogis, they give us a very beautiful, simple technique with water and little salt in it. We're supposed to clean our nose every day through that niti kriya. So make sure you do that also. As that Guru concluded his teachings with these words, that disciple embarked on a profound journey of self-discovery. That journey which was guided by the wisdom of breath control given by his Guru. And this journey is not only for that disciple, this journey is our journey too. Because this path is filled with ancient secrets and transformation potential. We all can walk on this. We all can get in touch with our inner potential. But we have to embrace the teachings of yoga and grow from there. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Visheshyate. Om Shanti 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 Om. Thank you very much.